Good morning, ASEAN. Freshen up your world, your thought, and your idea with us every weekday from 7:30 to 8 a.m. I'm Patsurang Desha Putharangsi.
And today is Thursday, 4th of July 2013. I'm here also with you, Nirasha Malisaklami. So,
right, so
Patsurang, what's the update
before we go for the ASEAN news
Yes.
update, we have the hottest situation from across the continent in
Yes.
Africa, in Egypt, as the army ousted President Mohamed Morsi already from power just a year after his election in what it's said to be to restore stability in the country, polarized by his Islamist leadership. So Morsi decried the move as a coup, however. So Defense Minister Abdel Fattah al-Sisi announced in a televised broadcast this evening, just like 4 a.m., 2 hours ago, that a constitution will be suspended and an early presidential election held after Morsi failed to meet the demands of an ultimatum set just over 48 hours ago.
Right. And now let's have a look at the situation in Indonesia, as Indonesia authorities yesterday agreed to impose 1-week period of emergency responses in Banda Maria Regency, the area that's mostly affected by the recent major earthquake in the ACEH. Asean officials said yesterday that the government allocated 40 billion rupiah, or around $4 million to the finance activities aimed at helping and delivering relief aids to the victims. National Disaster Mitigation Agency, or BNPB spokesperson Sutopo Purwo Nugroho told a press conference in the BNPB office that the emergency response takes into effect yesterday until July 9 in Banda Maria Regency. It is extendable, depends on the situation developed on the fields. As of Wednesday, the BNPB recorded 24 people perished from the earthquake, 14 in Banda Maria Regency and 10 in nearby Regency of ACEH, KENAGA. Sutopo added that the 6.2 magnitude earthquake that occurred on Tuesday was followed by at least 15 aftershocks. Hundreds of people were injured and hundreds of houses collapsed in the disaster. Together with search and rescue team, officials from Health, Social and Public Works Minister have been departed to the province capital city of Banda Aceh to coordinate delivery of relief aids to the victims. 3 trucks loaded with logistics have been departed to Banda Maria and Aceh KENAGA Regencies to help the victims. Those trucks carried 2.1 billion rupiah worth of relief aids comprised of, among others, rice, tents, sardines, sheets and clothes for the refugees. Sutopo said that there are 5 refugee shelters in Banda Maria and 10 others in Aceh KENAGA. The exact number of refugees is still being calculated. Each shelter accommodates at least 700 people so far. A helicopter has been sent from Rio province to help evacuate injured victims who need medical treatment to Banda Aceh. A CN-235 plane was also departed to the earthquake location to map and take aerial photographs in order to help officials on the ground to take quick decisions in saving the victims and overcome damages caused by the earthquake. Sutopo said that the earthquake that occurred on Tuesday was located in part of Semakau fault line that spans 1,900 kilometers from northern tip of Sumatra to Lampang province in the island, and the fault line was divided in 19 regions.
According to officials from Myanmar Agribusiness Public Corporation, or MAPC, Myanmar has exported 5,000 tons of high-quality rice called Atmata 5 Mark to Japan for the first time in 45 years. According to MAPC, the first shipment already reached port of Nagoya in Japan, whose authorities completed the process of checking the rice quality. So Japan will possibly buy more rice from Myanmar after quality checks were approved. So he said that they like it because it's free of chemicals. They also recommended buying more. So the MAPC has exported the rice to Japan's Mitsui Corporation with cooperative support from Myanmar Rice Industry Federation and Japan's Ministry of Agriculture. So Myanmar has planned to export another 1.5 million tons of rice in the fiscal year 2012 until 2013 this year, and it has so far exceeded the target for the first time in 46 years in this fiscal year. So according to Win Myint, the Union Minister for Commerce, also said the country has planned to export 3 million tons of rice in the next fiscal year.
Still stay with Myanmar as the United States placed a Myanmar general on its sanctions blacklist yesterday to arms deals with North Korea that violated the UN Security Council's embargo on buying weapons from Pyongyang. Weeks after a landmark visit to Washington by Myanmar President Thein Sein celebrated the tour in bilateral relations, the U.S. Treasury named Lieutenant General Tien Hayt the head of Myanmar's Directorate of Defense Industries for the sanctions. The Treasury said that the general was involved in buying North Korean military goods despite his government's support of the Security Council ban. It said he acted on behalf of the Directorate of Defense Industries, a Myanmar military agency that was placed on the U.S. sanctions blacklist in July 2012 for arms deals with North Korea. The Treasury stressed in a statement that the Myanmar government, which until 2010 endured years of isolation and condemnation by the international community for right abuses, was not targeted by the sanctions. The Treasury said that this action specially targets Tien Hayt, who is involved in the illicit trade of North Korean arms, and before it used to call Burma, as now it changed to Myanmar. It does not target the government of Myanmar, which has continued to take positive steps in severing its military ties with North Korea. The Treasury noted that the Myanmar government last November publicly announced its intention to abide by the UN Security Council resolution prohibiting countries from buying military equipment and support from North Korea. According to the Treasury, North Korea's arms trade provides it an important source of revenue to expand and enhance its prescribed nuclear and missile programs, which are a threat to international peace and security. The sanctions announced on Tuesday forbid any American from doing business with Tien Hayt and freeze any asset he might have in the United States. The blacklisting came despite a warning of relations between the United States and Myanmar after the government introduced democratic reforms.
Another interesting episode in doing business in Myanmar, this time lessons being learned from long-time investor in the country. Let's see it from MYANMAR FOCUS DAILY.
Audit firm KPMG Thailand has recently held a seminar on sharing real experiences of conducting businesses in ASEAN countries, including Myanmar. MYANMAR FOCUS Daily today speaks to Managing Director of MK Group of Companies. MK Group has been in Myanmar for over 2 decades. He shared with us his experience as well as solutions for difficulties. Myanmar-based MK Group of Companies has been established in Myanmar for over 20 years, starting the business with supplying high-end fashion brands to Myanmar consumers. Then the company expanded its business lines to be a distributor of automobile parts and IT gadgets in Myanmar. The group has recently partnered with mobile handset retailer Daema Thailand in setting up mobile shops in Myanmar, as this sector is currently booming. Myanmar has opened up. The investment is pouring into the country from around the world. The market can become more competitive. As a long-time entrepreneur in the country, the company sees this as more of an opportunity than a challenge because the economy is getting better, which leads to a higher purchasing power in the future. However, the key problem for even a well-established foreign company in Myanmar like MK is lack of human resources.
ปัญหาอุปสรรคที่ผมเจอเยอะที่สุดเนี่ยก็คือเรื่องหาคนที่มีคุณภาพมาช่วยงานที่บริษัทครับเพราะว่าตรงนี้เนี่ยทำให้เวลาเราขยายงานเนี่ยเราต้องมาคิดหนักกันเพราะว่าปัจจุบันเนี่ยที่เรามาทดแทนตรงนี้ได้ก็คือหาพาร์ทเนอร์ให้พาร์ทเนอร์เนี่ยช่วยส่งคนที่มีศักยภาพเข้ามาช่วยบริหารให้รุ่นระยะแรกครับก็ตรงนี้เนี่ยก็ช่วยให้เรามีการขยายเติบโตไปได้ต่อ
Surprisingly, MK Group does not worry about the underdeveloped banking system and regulatory frameworks or lack of infrastructure, the challenges most foreign investors concern.
ที่ผมไม่ค่อยห่วงเนี่ยเพราะว่า พวกนี้เนี่ยยังไงมันใช้เวลาไม่ได้นานอยู่แล้วในการสร้างขึ้นมาเพื่อรองรับกับการเจริญเติบโตของประเทศคืออย่างเช่นแบงก์เนี่ยตอนนี้ก็ผมเรียกได้ว่าดีขึ้นหน้ามือเป็นหลังมือเลยจาก 2 ปีที่ผ่านมาแล้วผมคิดว่าอีกไม่นานเนี่ยก็คงมีสแตนดาร์ดที่ดีพอที่จะรองรับประเทศส่วนเรื่อง infrastructure เนี่ยถ้าในหัวเมืองใหญ่ๆเนี่ยผมคิดว่าคงไม่เกินระยะเวลา 3-5 ปีที่รัฐบาลเนี่ยจะพัฒนาพร้อมที่จะซัพพอร์ตแต่ถ้าจะทั่วประเทศเนี่ยผมว่าอย่างต่ำก็คือ 10-20 ปีกลับมาสุดท้ายก็คือเรื่องที่คอนเซิร์นที่สุดก็คือเรื่องคน
Yet the executive admitted that those challenges caused higher production costs. If prospect investors still see profits after running feasibility study, they should not be worried.
ไม่มีไฟทุกคนก็คือใช้เครื่องปั่นไฟกันแต่ตรงนั้นคอสก็แอดขึ้นมาครับอย่างน้ำเนี่ยก็คือขุดบาดาลมาใช้กันพวกอินเทอร์เน็ตโทรศัพท์ตอนนี้ดีขึ้นมากแล้วผมคิดว่าความน่าเป็นห่วงตรงนี้เนี่ยไม่มีแล้ว
The key in doing business in Myanmar for MK Group would be learn how to adapt. Having conducted businesses in Myanmar for over 20 years, the company keeps adapting itself to fit with the country. He also believes Myanmar future will be brighter and there is nothing to be worried about. Orawitang Misang from Myanmar Focus Daily.
And coming up next after the break, we're going to have a look at the Cambodia's informal money lending. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Despite the rapid development of the banking sector in Cambodia, informal, unlicensed money lending, especially in rural regions, is still thriving and unfairly competing with banks and the microfinance institutions. So according to Vorn Pao, president of the Independent Democracy of Informal Economy Association, a group representing workers in informal sectors such as transportation, he said while there has been an increasing number of banks and MFIs or microfinance institutions like the ACEH Bank, many farmers continue to rely on informal credit and a private money lender in their village. According to a study of rural and urban consumers conducted in June by Indochina Research, 5 out of 10 Cambodian households that have at some stage borrowed money still access informal sources of credit. The actual figure could be even higher as these informal loans are hard to measure completely. So Phnom Penh Post reported that this confirms that informal lending still plays a significant role as an alternative access to funding in Cambodia. So, however, as people are reluctant to talk about habits concerning usage of informal loans, the authorities have to assume that the actual incidence is higher than what they are able to register in their survey. So informal lending provides a number of incentives for people in need of money. For one, it is fast and easy. Borrowers and money lenders know each other on a first-name basis, residence, credit history, etc., and do not require borrowers to fill out application forms. So Kang Chandararut, director of the Cambodia Institute of Development Studies, said that turning to private money lenders satisfies an impulse to save face and appears solvent. So the practice, of course, is not without its risks. Very often, informal loans are laden with high interest rates for surpassing rates offered by banks and MFIs and could easily snowball into exorbitant amounts. So informal lending operations also affect the development of Cambodia's banking sector by creating unfair competition. But a possible solution is to implement a law that prevents courts from accepting lawsuits by informal money lenders against borrowers. But such a move wades into an uncertainty territory of categorizing informal lending and applying laws to regulate its practice.
And now let's have a look in Malaysia, as according to research, Malaysia's economy for the second half of the year will pick up momentum with domestic demand to be the engines of growth. KENAGA Investment Research believe that domestic demand will be the strength to start up momentum from the second quarter of 2013 and move with an upward trajectory in the remainder of the year. Its economist Wan Suhaimi said yesterday that post-13 general elections with status quo in the federal government, there would be policy continuity pushing the economic transformation programs or ETP projects forward, and the multiplier effects will continue to spread throughout the country. On the exports, the recovery in global demand should drive up exports and spur manufacturing growth in the second half. Based on that and the summer season in the Northern Hemisphere, Wan Suhaimi expected gross domestic product growth for the third quarter to hit 5.6%. With the elections out of the way, fiscal consolidation was due alongside implementation of policies to manage public debt. He said that in the fourth quarter, the government will continue its subsidy rationalization policy. KENAGA research expected the fiscal deficit to be 4.2% this year. He added that as Barisan National promised to fulfill their manifesto, including cash handout schemes like 1 million Brunei ringgit, it may raise operating expenditure and widen deficit. The GDP estimated for 2013 was 5.3%, slightly lower than 5.6% recorded last year. KENAGA research revised its year-end target for the ringgit against dollar from 2.97 to 3.05 to reflect global economic volatility and regional currency weakening. The monetary policy was expected to stay at 3% with any consideration to increase the interest rate to take place only a year from now on.
According to Prime Minister Najib Razak of Malaysia, there has been an upswing in Malaysians buying property in London, and at least two institutions, MARA and the Employees Provident Fund, are looking to invest in the capital city. He said apartments at the Battersea Power Station development in London for Malaysians had been taken up, which would be good for the British economy. Najib is on a 4-day working visit to London. So the Battersea Power Station development in London is undertaken by a Malaysian consortium led by property developer SP Setia BHD, plantation giant Sim Darby BHD, and the EPF, which stands for Employees Provident Fund. So there will probably be an upswing in Malaysian companies and government-linked companies, GLCs, looking at investing in real estate and processing buildings. MARA is looking at a few London properties, and the EPF, which is flushed with funds, is looking for opportunities to invest there and in other capital cities. Najib said after making the official announcement for the 9th World Islamic Economic Forum at City Hall in London. Najib added that the SP Setia was sure to be looking for more opportunities for other developments. And of course, Malaysia will be a major player in the London property market. Today, Najib and his British counterpart David Cameron will be attending the groundbreaking ceremony for the Battersea project.
And in Tech Savvy today, we're going to still have a look at the Longdo Map Part 2. And for this time, we're going to have a look why digital mapping business is growing rapidly.
You may be familiar with digital mapping found on Google Map, Apple Map, or here by the Finnish mobile maker Nokia. Well, besides these popular maps, other private sectors are increasingly making their own. Today, Tech Savvy will take you to see why digital mapping business is growing rapidly.
Moved from paper-based to digital, it is said to be more efficient. You can now use the search function to find destinations automatically on the map, or even get the latest traffic reports. Moreover, digital maps can also support businesses by marking their business offices or shops on the map, making it more convenient for customers to find shops and get services.
คือแผนที่ถ้าเรามองจริงๆแล้วมันมีตั้งแต่การทำข้อมูลการทำซอฟต์แวร์แพลตฟอร์มการทำแอปพลิเคชันที่อยู่ข้างบน
It takes many components to create digital maps, according to Patharakit Sewi, General Manager of Metamedia Technology Company Limited, a Thai developer of Longdo Map. The executive also said developing digital maps is very complicated and it takes a large company to create the map on its own. For smaller sized companies like Longdo Map, it is necessary to co-develop with a partner such as the Thailand National Electronics and Computer Technology Center or NECTEC. Currently, many digital maps, both international and Thai brands, are offering free services. One might wonder how these companies earn. The Longdo Map executive explains how the company brings in revenue.
คือเราต้องยอมรับว่าธุรกิจแผนที่เนี่ยนะครับสำหรับประชาชนทั่วไปเนี่ยเราสัมผัสได้จากแบรนด์ดังๆของโลกไม่ว่าจะเป็น Google หรือ Apple Microsoft Nokia ทุกเจ้าเห็นความสำคัญของเทคโนโลยีแผนที่เทคโนโลยี location base นะครับแล้วก็ลงมาเล่นในตลาดนี้หมดถ้ามองเผินๆเนี่ยผู้ใช้ส่วนบุคคลใช้ทุกเจ้าฟรีหมดแล้วรายได้มาจากไหนนะครับคำตอบก็คือว่ารายได้มาจากการใช้งานในแบบองค์กรครับซึ่งถ้าเราต้องการเอาแผนที่ไปประยุกต์ใช้ในแอปพลิเคชันขององค์กรมันจะไม่ฟรีแล้วนะครับแล้วก็ต้องยอมรับว่าผู้เล่นต่างประเทศก็มีโมเดลการคิดราคาต่างประเทศซึ่งก็อาจจะค่อนข้างสูงครับในฐานะที่เราเป็นผู้ประกอบการคนไทยนะครับเราก็ยืนหยัดที่จะให้มีโซลูชันของคนไทยที่จะมีราคาที่เหมาะสม
The Longdo Map executive also said that developing the digital mapping so that it will charge service fees will help improve services for digital mapping. Moreover, there are increasingly more digital mapping application developers in Thailand. The drive comes from the growing importance given to maps and locations of the business sector.
ในเรื่องของแผนที่เนี่ยเราเห็นเทรนด์ที่เพิ่มขึ้นเรื่อยๆครับอย่างเร็วมากคือจากเดิมที่ระบบแผนที่ออนไลน์หรือระบบ GIS จำกัดอยู่ในวงของหน่วยงานราชการหน่วยงานที่มีกำลังซื้อระบบแผนที่ราคาแพงๆปัจจุบันได้เข้ามาสู่แอปพลิเคชันตั้งแต่ส่วนบุคคลไปจนถึงส่วนองค์กรตั้งแต่องค์กรเล็กๆไปจนถึงองค์กรใหญ่ๆเราได้เห็นเทรนด์ซึ่งขึ้นมาเรื่อยๆแล้วก็ไม่มีทีท่าว่าจะหยุดครับโดยเฉพาะในช่วงหลังๆการมาของโมบายแพลตฟอร์มนะครับซึ่งสมาร์ทมากขึ้นมากๆครับแผนที่กลายเป็นเรื่องธรรมดาไปแล้วผมคิดว่าพื้นฐานเรื่องแผนที่พื้นฐานเรื่อง location base เป็นสิ่งที่สำคัญมากในธุรกิจในอนาคตครับผม
Digital mapping business is another IT business that has potential, but to be successful, it should cater to users' demand in terms of quality and price.
Update yourself on the IT sector again every Thursday. For now, see you next time.
That wraps up our ASEAN morning. We'll see you again, same time, same place, same channel.
And from 7:30 to 8 a.m. Monday to Friday, I'm Nirasha Malisak Lamia.
And I'm Patsurang Desha Putharang Si. สวัสดีค่ะ